Does it? Wait. Oh, it works. Very nice to have everyone here. Very warm welcome, unfortunately. It's really nice to have everyone here. The meaning, or like the action from which this started, is to gather artists, animation workers, to show support, because I think a lot of people who are working in animation are feeling very discouraged, or are feeling anxious and have worried about the future of our industry. That is something that we as unions and my fellow union representatives have been made aware of, or whether through our union members or by our own experiences. So this meetup is for you, by us, for animation workers, by animation workers. We'll be reading the short statement, or the full statement, which will also be translated in French for les francophones ici, and we will have some people, if they want to tell or announce something. And there's also an opportunity from you guys, the audience, to ask questions or to give us tips or share your experiences, because every country has been having their own issues with generative AI. Every union works differently. Not everyone has the chance of the opportunity to unionize. So we want to share our knowledge and bring us artists together, because no one else is going to do it for us. So yeah, we will start with the statement. Wait, can I have a little bit more umbrella?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. This statement was composed and supported by a collective of international animation unions, federations and organizations calling for action in regards to the usage of generative artificial intelligence and its destructive impact, not only on the global animation industry and the craft itself, but also on everyone who is employed by it, our culture and our planet. It is an undeniable fact that the animation industry has been suffering greatly these last few years. The economics of streaming have been proven to be not at all lucrative, and the increased spending during the pandemic led to an unavoidable burst of a streaming bubble. It is the workers that were staffed up with false promises that are feeling the repercussions through mass layoffs, the increased use of outsourcing, mergers and acquisitions that lead to the closure of studios and ever-decreasing budgets. This echoes across multiple audiovisual entertainment industries and affects workers in animation, music, VFX and the gaming industry. This rapid expansion of generative AI in animation is propelled by the perceived beliefs that it is the answer to these developments. To work in these industries is a constant battle to prove our economic worth to a very small number of people, and to those people, generative AI brings an offer too good to be true, a near magical machine that can produce words and images from a simple and vague description. Generative AI, however, is neither a tool nor effective nor cheap. It is a copying machine that is flawed, destructive, and expensive to run. Generative AI literally builds upon and draws not only from the copyrighted works that it was trained on, but also from the local human cultural values and the norms embedded within those works. It poses an immediate threat to creative innovation and renewal, replacing the riches and diversity that characterize human creativity with a creativity shaped by the biases of those controlling and using it. It actively pushes creatives out of their respective industry, which will not only lead to the inevitable loss of knowledge and talent that will never be recuperated fully, but also directly leads to the privatization of all art process and thinking. Generative AI is a technology that seeks not to support artists, but to destroy them. The absence of human is a feature, not a bug, of AI art. It is not a tool. We do not use generative AI. We negotiate with it to try and make it do the things we want it to do. Generative AI promises not only the loss of employments and livelihoods for millions of people worldwide that work at keeping the world connected through their art. Unfortunately, the audiovisual industry is not the only victim of this increasingly damaging tech development. This same technology is being used to foster dissent, confusion, and distrust among the public and has wide-ranging implications beyond international security, including the fabrication of criminal evidence and news, new forms of sexual harassment, including deepfake pornography and privacy violations. The computational power required to train and use generative AI models demands a staggering amount of electricity and water, which directly strains municipal water supplies and disrupts local ecosystems. This unchecked growth and unadjustable techno-optimism comes with incredible environmental consequences, including expanding demand for computing power, larger carbon footprints, shifts in patterns of electricity demands, and an accelerated depletion of natural resources, additionally exploiting without any respect for human rights. As such, there is a need for protection frameworks around the ethical and fair use of AI. For this, we refer to the research brief of the International Labour Organization, ILO, which proposes the concept of 3 C's: compensation, control on the use of the work of the creator, and informed consent, but also for the policies, nationally and internationally, to manage workforce transition through skill development, as well as the use of social protection to support workers affected by AI. With consent, we mean a reasonable balance between, on the one hand, technological innovation, and on the other hand, a sustainable and strong cultural and creative sector. Requires that training AI with copyright-protected work should only be possible with the informed consent of the authors of those works. With compensation, we mean performers and creators should be fairly compensated for the use of their work, including but not limited to illustrations, animations, writing, voice work, likeness or image, and AI-generated content. With control, we mean creators such as writers, musicians, filmmakers, visual artists, and other professionals need to be able to govern how their works, identities, and creative input are used, adapted, and reproduced by AI systems. This control ensures that the creator's intellectual property, labor, and reputations are respected and that they receive fair recognition and compensation. In order for this to be realized, creators need to have an understanding on what AI, and particularly generative AI, entails. It is also necessary to build agency among them to negotiate relevant employment conditions. We call upon the regulators, lawmakers, and governments to fight for culture and arts and the value it provides, to draft and implement legislation that protects those workers and those rights. We call upon producers, showrunners, studio heads, and production staff to understand and product our creative culture and to prioritize both the workers and our work. We call upon all the creative workers worldwide to unite. We ask that you support human-made works. We ask that you speak up against the implementation of AI. We ask that you become informed and unionize with your fellow workers to protect our art and culture, our work, and our livelihood. This entire statement was signed and supported by ABRACA, the Belgian Animation Workers Union, AGRAF, France, the Directors, Graphic Artists and Writers Association, AWI, Ireland, Animation Workers Union, CNT, SIPMS, France, Press Media Culture and Show Union, CSVI, Spain, Video Game Union, FIA, International Federation of Actors, FIM, International Federation of Musicians, FNSAC, CGT, France, the Federation of Entertainment Unions, La Guilde Française des Scénaristes, France, Writers Union, GWOI, Ireland, Video Game Workers Workers Union, Les Intervalles, France, Association Against Abuse and Discrimination in Animation, Kunstenbond, Nederland, Illustration, Comic and Animation Workers, La Ligue des Auteurs Professionnels, France, the Authors Union, Syndicat des Scénaristes, France, Writers Union, SFA CGT, France, Dubbers, Actors, Dubbers and Comedians Union, SNAM CGT, France, Musicians Union, SNT PCT, France, Animation and VFX Workers Union, SPIAC CGT, France, Animation Workers Union, SDIV, France, Video Game Workers Unions, the Animation Guild, USA, Animation Workers and Writers Union, Touche pas ma VF, France, Actors Dubbing Association Against Generative AI, UNI, MEI, International Art and Entertainment Alliance, Univa Regisseurs, Belgium, Directors Union, United Voice Artists, International Coalition of Voice Acting Guilds, Associations and Unions, Les Voix, France, Association of Actors, Dubbing and Comedians. And who? And the UK one. Big two? Big two. Big two. Yeah, I just read a lot and my brain is... Thank you for listening. Thank you. That was a lot and it's very warm. So we have a quick French. Do you know it by heart or do you need to?
I don't really know if we need to read it in full French or if everyone here speaks enough English to understand what we say in the English statement. But I just wanted to add that all the unions associations we listed here are from 8 different countries, but we can add more unions and more associations. If you talk to your representative, ask to Les Intervalles to join them. It's an open release. We can send them to the press. And it's from 8 different countries, 26 different unions. It's the first coalition of international unions we have in the animation industry. I hope we have a lot of fights together because there's a lot to do for us and for workers' rights. Woo! Woo! Yeah, so maybe we can give a mic now to some of the unions who want to add specific demands on their behalf.
Le statement en français?
Should I read the statement in French first? It's a pretty long one, so,
Yes.
or is it again in English?
Oui, je pense. Oui, oui.
Yeah.
Oui, oui, oui.
And now it's your turn to